Welcome to the Prophecy Club at 2026? Question mark. Is that the year that the dollar dies and paper coins go away and the digital system arrives? More than one person is saying yes. Okay, so let's start with X. Is X going to become the everything app so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name? Some people say yes. Now, this is too small to read, so I took the same text and I blew it up so you can read it. Here's what it says. Elon Musk is developing a digital payment system called X Money within the X app, allowing users to send and receive money, store funds, tip creators. What does that mean? That is so no man can buy or sell, okay? This initiative aims to transform X into an everything app. Not the first time we've heard this, but it might be the first time that they're ready to say it's about ready to go. That combines social networking and financial transactions. Overview of X payments. So Elon Musk's social media platform is set to launch a new payment system called X Money. This feature aims to transform X into a comprehensive financial tool, allowing users to conduct various financial transactions, right around the globe. Peer-to-peer payments. User can send or receive money instantly, kind of like PayPal, except for you do it all with something that looks, but not is, looks like a cell phone. In-app wallets store funds for quick access, bank integration, link bank accounts, debit cards for easy transfers, creator monetization. In other words, you buy things, most of the things won't come from brick and mortar. Most of the things will be bought online through your, how do you call it? We don't have a name for it. Your cell money system. Your Cell X, okay? Cell phone. Future developments, investment features, plans to include investment options. Now I'm going to speed this up a little bit, get to the point. So he's going to come out with an X-branded card. It'll be savings and loans, secure money transfer licenses in over 40 different states. It'll be around the world soon. Expectations for future integration of cryptocurrencies, including Dogecoin. X Money is part of Musk's vision to create an everything app, combining social media financial services into one global cell phone-like device. Now, here's what is happening even as I speak. Gold is going up. It's rising a lot in the last 24, 48 hours. Gold, however, does not increase in value. It was said during the days of Abraham Lincoln, a 1-ounce gold coin would buy you a nice suit of clothes. And today, a 1-ounce gold coin will buy you a nice set of clothes. Meaning, the value of gold does not go up. Okay, so what is it? The value of the dollar goes down. So if you invert this, this is the correct way to think about it. Now, if you don't want the value of your paper dollar and your coins too, going down, what do? You put it in gold. The value of gold in 1913, my understanding, by the way, the internet says it's $20 an ounce. I know that's not correct. I think it was $12 an ounce, and I can't tell you how I know that, but I've seen, if I say that, they'll take me off just like that. But again, I know some things I can't talk about. So Moloch and Baal has stolen our wealth over the years, which is why you probably should call 800-200 gold, 800-200 gold, silver, platinum, rhodium, pretty much whatever you want, especially if you have a large stack of paper or coins that you don't want to lose. That would be 401k, IRA, or maybe just a large savings account in the bank. Sure, you don't have a lot of money in the bank, right? Okay, you've got it out of the bank, right? Okay, tell me you do. 800-200 gold. Now, Gates says, yes, we are building a global digital payment system. And he's quite open about it. He's really not spilling the beans. It's just that most people have not heard this. So here he is Being interviewed on CNBC International Live, this is what he says. Now, I'm not going to read all of it, but he says that they are coming up with a universal way. We won't be able to do that without traditional systems. In other words, they're talking about a universal, global, digital payment network. He says that they're coming up with it. He says once you have the digital money system, then you can do all sorts of things. You can help people have health education, agriculture, giving people visibility in their financial status. You can pause and read the whole thing if you want to. The phone becomes a connection. A connection to what? The whole world. Now, see, he's saying phone. It's going to be, where's my cell phone? Here we go. Put it in the drawer so it wouldn't bother me. It's going to be, the little 11-year-old boy saw it in a vision, or a dream. It's going to be about the size of a cell phone, but it won't be a cell phone. He was shown that you can't make phone calls, can't play games on it, okay? So this digital revolution, these are words right out of Bill Gates' mouth, okay? So the digital revolution is coming. Developing countries have the benefit of the digital revolution. World Bank, African Development. These private sectors will assist the central banks creating these systems. The phone companies, the banks, entrepreneurs will build applications that use these financial capabilities. Boom. So he's one of the globalists, and he is cooperating with it. And you look at all the big money, that's what they're pushing. They call it AI, but surely you don't think AI is good for you, right? You understand where they're going with this. When they start trading in currency, the prophecy says, in another currency other than the dollar will collapse. And yes, that was Shane Warren, Coverstone, several others. China's cargo ban gives new meaning to BHP's Broken Hill origin. Commentators say Beijing's aim is not merely to bargain for a few dollars per ton, but to gain pricing power over iron ores. But it is deeper than that. I'm only going to read one sentence here because this one doesn't really get to the point here. But China's ordered domestic steel mills and trading firms to suspend all new purchases of BHP's group's iron ore cargoes. That's not the point. HalTurnerRadioShow.com comes up with the real point. China bans iron ore purchases from Australia involving U.S. dollar. So it's really not just attacking Australia. It's really trying to shut down the dollar. Why would they want to do that? And by the way, if China can shut down the dollar, where would the nation start going? To the BRICS currency, just like we've been told. China's refusing to buy iron ore from Australia, the largest mining company, in U.S. dollars. They're not refusing to buy, they're just refusing to buy in U.S. dollars. As we saw at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization at the start of September, China wants a greater role for the China national yuan. Okay, so Trump is coming up with these tariffs. I think all of this is a backdoor around that to protect China and to start killing the dollar. Let's go on. So about 9 days ago, the story goes, China told its steelmakers to pause buying iron from BHP, an Australian mining company, unless they were not buying it with dollars. The order came from the Chinese government because they no longer wish to utilize U.S. dollars for iron ore purchases. Okay, so it's not that they don't want the iron ore. It's not that they want to hurt BHP or to Australia. It's that they want to get this large transaction transacted in something other than a dollar, just like the prophecies told us. They want the U.S. dollar out of commerce transactions. Why? Because the U.S. dollar makes China susceptible to U.S.-imposed economic sanctions and blocking the payments through the U.S.-dominated SWIFT banking system. In other words, this is about this is about stabbing Trump and the United States in the back, is what it's really about. Oh, there's more. BHP did not want to halt using the U.S. dollar, so China halted import of iron ore through BHP. And as more and more countries halt using the U.S. dollar to make it impossible for the U.S. to impose economic sanctions, see, that's what they're doing. They're getting away from the dollar. And I'm going to say it's not just about sanctions. It also has to do with tariffs. It also has to do with building up China and tearing down America at the same time. Because China has long had the goal to become the number one military, the number one economy on the planet. And that means we've got to take out America. Those dollars will begin flooding back into the U.S. from countries around the world who don't use them anymore. Isn't that exactly what Shane Warren told us was coming? Isn't that exactly what he said? Yep. He said as soon as they stop selling oil and other things in currency other than the U.S. dollars, that is going to crash the U.S. dollar. Well, would China like to do that? Yes, China very much would. That influx of dollars will cause the value or the purchasing power of the dollar to plummet relative to many foreign currencies. As the dollar plummets in value, imported goods will begin costing more and more U.S. dollars if foreign countries sell to us at all. Again, we were told this. We were told this starting back in 2012, okay? This is not new for folks that follow this ministry. Big shocker. Now, this is still part of the same article. Watch what it says. Inflation inside the U.S. will skyrocket. Skyrocket. Well, we heard that word before. We've heard that from Shane Warren, where he said silver, rather than gold, silver will skyrocket far more than gold. This is one of the quiet reasons why the price of gold is rising. I think so. I think there's other reasons. I don't think there's just one reason. Countries are realizing that they need to get out of the U.S. dollar and buy into something that everyone will accept as payment for international trade. And what would that be? Well, BRICS and eventually the digital currency system, just like Gates told us. Goldman Sachs, here it is. Goldman Sachs is now telling us investment and banking clients, they expect gold to hit, look at this, $4,300 to $4,900 per ounce by this December. Do you remember the prophecy that said gold would go over $5,000 an ounce? And do you remember the other two guys I put on that said gold is going to go, one said $10,000 an ounce, and the other one said $20,000 an ounce? Okay, so what would even $10,000, much less $20,000 an ounce, do to the dollar? It means that you're going to have to take a wheelbarrow full of dollars down to buy a loaf of bread, just like it was in Germany after World War II. Coming to a neighborhood near you. All of us. There's more. Again, 800, 200 gold. It's not too late. Look, if you got a big pile of coins or paper, IRA, 401k, under the mattress, wherever, I can't give you financial advice, but I think that's a dangerous position to be in. I think I would much rather have that in gold or silver or rhodium or palladium or something like that. 800, 200 gold. Call them. It doesn't cost anything. Doesn't hurt. Just say, okay, here's my situation. Am I okay? Maybe they say, yeah, you're good. Maybe they don't say, yeah, you're good. More evidence. What we're talking about is true. So this comes, HalTurnerRadioShow.com. He seems to be the guy that seems to have the best information. So he says, gold passes $4,000 an ounce. IMF warns banks prepare for dollar shock. Okay, what's dollar shock? It's another way of saying crash of the dollar, but they don't want to say that. So he goes on to say at the bottom, the price for 1 ounce of gold is broken through $4,000 an ounce. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund is warning banks to prepare for dollar shock and have sufficient foreign exchange funds to cover U.S. dollar exposure. What? U.S. foreign exchange? In other words, have something other than the dollar because the dollar is about to crash. That's what they're saying. Spot gold jumped 1.2% to $4,030. No, it's higher than that last time I checked. Spot gold is up 53 cents, 53% year to date. Financial institutions that dominate the $9.6 trillion currency market should hold, and it goes on to say, and you can read it if you want to, dollar exposure, funding shocks, a lot of problems. Skip to the bottom, though. It appears to me to be the collapse of the U.S. currency slowly but surely. Okay, let's look at what's going on. So we have America saying to the Central American countries that the cartels are now enemy combatants. Hegseth has just said that he has permission to fire on them. Mexico has said if you go on a Mexican soil, going after them, we would consider that an act of war. He's put a, 50 million, some crazy amount, a bounty on Maduro's head. We've already blown up now 5 different ships that reportedly were carrying cocaine and fentanyl and stuff like that out in the ocean. Then you turn around and look at all the tariff problems. I mean, the tariffs, I can see a good side, but I can also see that they're making a lot of enemies. But then you talk about the internal revolution starting. Okay, so Trump has already sent the military into Washington, D.C., and so far, according to what we've heard, that's not turning out so bad. Then he's now sending it up to Portland. Portland is not happy about that. They say stay out. And then Chicago, as I talked about yesterday, we're talking about an internal revolution is in the early phases of starting. Now, all of a sudden, our dollar is having trouble. Do you see what I see? I see, well, Shane Warren was told a perfect storm. What's a perfect storm? It's several things going wrong all at the same time, kind of like right now. So you got prophecies for this, Stan? Yeah, I do. I've covered them several times before. So you folks that don't miss a program can skip them, but I'm going to recommend you probably want to hear them because all of a sudden now a new light is going to be shown on them. So let's jump first to Coverstone. I saw a $100 bill the size of a flag hanging on the flagpole. Okay, $100 bill, flagpole, remember that. Burning on one corner, it was being lowered like a flag is lowered at the end of the day. People had their hands over their hearts, crying. In other words, that's probably Republicans, because their god of money was being lowered. The dollar had lost its value and burned only until about a third of it was left. Okay, so he sees the values start falling until down to about 1/3. Okay, so if you go back to the gold charts we were just looking at, spot gold is up 53%. That means the dollar has fallen 53% just this year. Okay. People had their hands over their hearts crying because their god of money was being lowered. The dollar had lost its value and burned only until about a third of it was left. To the protesters, the death of the dollar was a celebration. To the communists, to the people that want to see the Christian nation destroyed. Many people were celebrating while others were devastated and totally torn up by the death of the dollar. The value of the American dollar was dying. I heard someone playing taps in the background. Now let's jump to Brandon Biggs. 2024. I was praying and I saw a flagpole. That's the same thing Coverstone saw. With a $100 bill flying as were a flag, and I saw it change to a digital code. It was digital, just like crypto, writing on it. I said, Lord, what are you showing me? He said, the dollar's about to turn into a digital dollar, and one of the places says it happens in January 26. Digital dollar will be worth half what it is now. He showed, well, look, it's already half what it is from the first of this year, okay? He showed all banks seized the money inside of them. It was like a bail-in. Okay, so what the banks do is I can't give financial advice, but if I had a pile of money someplace, I'd be getting it out of the bank right now, and I'd be putting it in gold or silver. And since Shane Warren said silver is going to skyrocket far more than gold, I can't tell you what to do. I would probably be putting it in silver. And maybe a little gold, but mostly silver. And then when the bank sees all the money, you've still got yours. Who do you call? 800-200-GOLD. 800-200 gold. Now let's jump to another prophecy on the same thing, but this has some additional information to it. The angel brought up the dollar again to me last night and said, I told you the purchasing power of the dollar would be around 50 cents. It's happening right now. This is a little over a year ago, okay? Inflation is getting worse and worse. The purchasing power of the dollar is crumbling. As we speak day to day by day, he said there will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash. Let me read that again. There will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash. Okay, so when does the stock market crash? What month of the year? Well, if you go back and you look, you find that normally that happens in October. And what month are we in? October. Now, am I saying that we're about to have stock market crash in October? I wish God would tell me, I'd tell you, but he hadn't told me. But if I'm looking at what everything is being said, I'd say it's a good time to make certain I don't have my money in a bunch of paper. That probably includes stocks, especially if there's about to be a stock market crash. And frankly, as I said the other day, I can't believe the stock market hadn't already crashed. Again, who am I? I don't know. But the stock market to me seems like it is way, 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 way overvalued. Okay, let's go on. There will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash. There will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash. There will be a major event that causes a significant, are you getting it? It'll send it into the 1930s type crash. That's coming. There will be some kind of event that happens. Now let's jump to another one of his prophecies. The Lord showed me an American flag. Okay, so this is two people seeing the same vision. Transformed in a $100 bill, waving, this is part of the same thing, but it's got additional information. Suddenly transformed into digital code. We were shown that. The Lord said the dollar's about to turn into a digital dollar and it'll be worth half what it is right now. So a $100 bill would be worth $50. Then he showed me banks went bankrupt. The money was in the banks. Whether you're rich or poor, the banks seized it all. Now, I can't tell you what to do. I'm a prophecy teacher. But I can tell you that I personally try to have, some cash, and I certainly want to have a little gold and silver. And if I had the money, I would probably get mostly silver. Again, I can't give you advice. That's why 800-200 gold exists. Call them 800-200 gold. I don't know about how, but somehow they seized all the money in the banks. People lost it all. 2 Chronicles 20:20 says, believe God's prophets, and so shall you prosper. So if you think a guy that saw, Brandon, Trump shot in the right ear, and he was very specific. He shot him right, I remember him even putting his hand up. Right here, shot right here in the right ear, 3 months before it happened. I think he's a guy to listen to. And he's saying this, I think it'd be smart for us to listen to, 800-200 gold. Loans that you have in your house, cars, everything, they took all of it. They called it a debt jubilee because they could, if you're going to round up the coins and the paper anyway, wouldn't that be a smart thing to do? Just take it all out? Foreclose and take everybody's houses, cars, because the dollar crashed. They just wiped it all out and created a whole new digital platform. When's this going to happen? Well, one of the other sources, I think I put the article in here or maybe yesterday, it says that they're expecting the digital system to go live in January of 26. Okay, so if you're going to crash the old system, when would be a good time to do that? If you're going to have a stock market crash, what month would be a good time to do that? And what month is the crash typically started? That would be October. Now, I can't say it's going to happen in October, but do you remember the guy that said something big is going to happen before October the 15th? So if you put all this stuff together, I think we're on shaky ground at the very least. Let's go on. The Lord showed me lines of people standing at Target stores. They were dressed like they were in poverty. They weren't dressed like they were in poverty-stricken clothes. In other words, this poverty came on them suddenly. Same thing David Phillips saw. Same thing Maurice Sklar saw. Shane Warren saw. It all happens quickly. It was just like it happened overnight. People in lines at Target and Walmart, like a mile long. There was no products. There was no food there. There was hardly anything left in the stores. People waiting just to get whatever they could. I could see, remember, David Phillips saw this too. So did You Be Ready. Certain things that would happen with gold and silver. Now, he's kind of saying the same thing Shane Warren said. Silver's going to skyrocket far more than gold. He showed me the euro. The euro would be in trouble because of what was going on with Europe. Okay, let me move on. Now, this is another confirmation. I mean, how many people do we have to have saying the dollar is going to go cashless, the dollar is going to die? Charles Turner had a vision. On the wall in front of me began to appear numbers that were calculated, contained algebra and geometry. I saw the cash dropping into an abyss-type place. There was no end to it. Cash was disappearing into darkness. Dollars began to start fading on each to the points where you couldn't see the numbers on the bills. But the numbers continued to fade away. In other words, the dollar bills, the currency, is going away, going digital. I was made to know the dollar's going away and a cashless, just like Bill Gates just said, system of digital numbers was coming to be our new medium of exchange. I heard the Lord say digital. I said, oh my God, the cash is fading away and digital is coming in as the new domain. Remember this? Okay, I'm going to summarize it because I'm already past time. This is back in 2021. Jason Meeks saw that first thing happened was the money system changed. Then he saw that there were massive arrests, which appears to be very, very close. DJT was assuming control as the new president. Wait a minute. He is president, yeah. He's president of the all capital, United States of America, but he didn't put his hand on the Bible for that. Could it be that that was planned, and now he's going to put his Bible on the new Republic of the United States and become president of that? And could it be that that's going to do away with the Constitution, do away with all these judges complaining and stopping him, and then there would be a great cleanup? He saw the massive arrest, bank presidents get arrested, and he saw a victory celebration. We've not seen that. We didn't see that in the election. We didn't see that in inauguration. We haven't seen big victory celebrations in the streets, but he did. Then I heard a huge explosion. Suitcase nuke had been detonated within the city, meaning all of this could be very, very close. What do? I'd say 800, 200 gold. 800, 200 gold. 800, 200 gold. Call them. This is my situation. I got a little here, got a little there, got some gold, got some silver, whatever you're going to say. Call them. What do you recommend? Listen. And I think they're going to say that they're not going to try to talk you into doing something you don't want to do. But I think I would ask some good questions. I would say, okay, so what's my liability? What can I do to protect? What do you suggest? And listen. I mean, a lot of Prophecy Club people called him. And by the way, they love Prophecy Club people because they don't have to teach them. They don't have to inform them. Matter of fact, Prophecy Club people inform the people that are at 800, 200 gold. Give them a call. See if they can help you. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com or actually go to it or call that number at the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount and it helps your Prophecy Club.